Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I am live from my Beehive studio this morning. I hope you guys are all well today. Today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. Not that it was a bad card to begin with or anything like that. It's just that we're taking maybe new supplies or a different color scheme and we're doing something different with it. And it's the card that gives us the starting point, and then we use that to create a new card. And this challenge is great for new people because it gives you a starting point, and it's great for people that have been around for a while, and we can use it to try out different styles. And I have to tell you that today's card was a bit of a challenge for me, not because it's a hard card, but it's because it was a simple layout that caused my I wanted to make it harder than it was. What I probably should have done was just cut a piece of pretty paper, stamped a greeting, and stuck it in the right hand corner. Let me just show you what we're dealing with. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's the card. I have it up on my video now so you can see it as well. They used cards from a it's a scrapbooking kit. Like they're like actually cards that are already printed, and this card is very beautiful and I love it, but the problem with it is that it is it is kind of simple in the sense that it was already kind of pre-made, or you could kind of do a pattern like that, but it just didn't work for me in my brain. So I should have just done some pretty paper and put that little greeting on and tied a little bigger twine bow. That's what I should have done, but instead I was trying to make it a lot more complicated. And last night, here, let me just show you one more thing. This is okay, that does not look like the layout. I think I grabbed the wrong layout. That is the wrong layout. Okay, ignore that layout. We actually do have a layout that matches that, but that is not the right layout. Wrong. Let me, okay. Sorry, I must have grabbed the wrong one, and now I think maybe I have the wrong one on my blog too, so I may have saved the wrong one. I might have to go back and change that. But it is, the layout for the card would be very simple because all you have is kind of the base card plus a little tiny greeting. So it's a very simple layout. So last night I had made a card yesterday afternoon. I photographed it. I was putting it up on my blog, and I'm like, I don't like this card. I don't like it at all. And it, furthermore, I thought it looked awful on my blog, and I was just like, ugh. I just couldn't even deal last night. I was just done. And because I'm not an 8 person, as many of you know. So I waited till this morning, and I kind of went with, I had an original idea of how to use this card, but then I kind of like, yeah, I didn't like that idea. So I thought I would try it again this morning. And I actually really do like the card that I came up with. So it's kind of fun to see the progression, the thought process, the whole idea about how we take a card from start to finish. And, you know, even someone like me who does this as a living can sometimes create something that I just don't like. And I will show you my card, the one that I don't like, in a moment when I turn my screen around, because I want to share that with you as well. And I think I'm just like looking right now. I'm hoping that I have can switch. Okay, good. Here's my work surface, and here's the card I actually do like. So don't hate on this card. But maybe some of you don't like this card, but I really like this card. I like the pretty florals colored in different Stampin' blends. So this card I do like. And I do kind of like that I kind of turned the accented bloom stamp on its head. and used it slightly differently, stamped it slightly differently than maybe most people would stamp it. And I really like this card. I think it's kind of pretty. I don't know if it really goes exactly to what the original card was, but it has that feeling of blooms coming in from the outside and a greeting here. Just I did it a little bit differently. So I will show you how to make this card today. And maybe I'll save my card that I don't like till the very end. So how about that? You'll have to wait and see that card. Okay, so how did I stamp this card? So start with like a piece of Whisper white cardstock. I love Whisper white cardstock because it's super smooth to stamp on. This piece is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Then I took my accented bloom stamp. Oh, you know what I'm gonna need? I'll just be right back. I'm walking across my room and I had a piece of scrap paper, but it was looking kind of really grungy. So I'm going to grab a new piece. I could pull it out of my garbage, but I probably have thrown some things on top of it now. Let's start with a new scrap piece of paper so it doesn't look too icky. Oh, by the way, this is the accented bloom stamp set, and we're going to be using this bloom and we're going to be using the thank you. You could also use the hello in the same card, and we're going to be using the tailored, let me move that into the light so it looks good, tailored tag punch, which matches those elements right there. Let me set that aside for a moment. Okay, so I'm going to use Memento ink. Open it up. And let me just tap my ink pad on this big bloom. Make sure I get really good coverage. Okay. I think I have done what I need to do. So I'm going to kind of aim this stamp so it's in the top left corner. I have the piece, the little floral piece that comes down, kind of pointing down, and I'm going to make sure the top part is coming off my cardstock and the left side is kind of right on the left side. It's right butted up against the left side. So there is the first stamp, and then we're going to do one more here. I'm going to ink this up down here at the bottom. Actually, we're going to do 2 more stamps to get all the images in that I want. So down here at the bottom, I'm going to just kind of hit the bottom right here with a little bit of florals right down there, and then I'm also going to hit this little flower right here, and I'm going to add that right kind of coming down here. So I have an extra flower up there to kind of create that image. So that is the stamping with Memento. Love it that I have so much coordination between my devices that my cell phone rings on my computer, which is great sometimes, but not great during a live presentation. Sorry about that. So let me just fold this over a bit so we don't have that white background, but we might get a little bit of bleed through. So I'm just gonna put this like this. So now we're gonna color all the florals. So I'll start off with the purple florals. This is my dark purple posy, and I'm going to do these, I don't know if they're asters or what kind of flowers these are. I'm just going to come in and just hit them, and they're going to be all purple posy. This is the dark one. And I know this is going to take a little time, but it is really fun to color sometimes, especially when you have a little time. Maybe you like to do this in front of the TV. And so I'm going to come back up and I'm going to shade the top part of this flower Could shade the bottom too, which would probably make more sense if the sun is coming from above, but I kind of just shaded the top and it worked for me. So that is the purple posy. Then I'm going to look at this bloom right here, and I'm going to use my dark pineapple punch. And I'm just going to brush on that pineapple punch. Pineapple punch is such a bright, lovely yellow. I think it is just so pretty. And I know yellows can sometimes be a little hard to use on a card if you're using too much yellow. I don't know what it is, but whenever I use too much yellow on a card, I tend not to like it. But if you use it as a little pop of color, you can go back over some of these little dark spots and then come down here and do this other floral, because there's a matching one down here because it's the same stamp. So I like how I was able to omit this piece on the bottom floral, and it looks kind of nice because, you know, otherwise this card wouldn't have as much balance because it needs a little bit of something down in the corner, I think. So it's nice that I can just kind of turn that around and manage to get that other floral in there down at the bottom. It even looks a little different, doesn't it? Because it's upside down here. All right, so then I'm going to take my dark mango melody and I'm going to hit the center of this flower. And I'm pretty much using the brush tips on all of these. I'm just using like happy summer colors. I picked colors that were kind of medium in darkness, but not super dark, but also not super light. So then I'm going to do this floral here in dark flirty flamingo. And they're just pretty, pretty. So how has everyone's summer been going? No, truly, you can comment in the comments section. Let me know, because I will go back over afterwards. While I'm coloring, I can't really look. But I want to know, how's your summer going? Are you having a good summer? I hope so. Switching to dark Seaside Spray now. My summer's been going pretty well. I'm getting ready in 2 weeks. Today's the 2-week day till I go and drop my son off at university up in Canada. We are taking a road trip, my son and I. So in 2 weeks, I will not be doing a Facebook Live because I will be on the road with my son driving up to Canada. It's going to take us about 8.5 hours to drive up in total drive time. And we're going to stop off at Niagara Falls. Yes. My son has never seen Niagara Falls, so we're going to go see Niagara Falls. All right, this is now dark mango melody. So I'll hit these little flowers down here. So I'm repeating a color in my yellow flower. Yeah, so we're going to stop off in Niagara Falls, and then we're going to head all the way to Waterloo, Ontario. Does anyone know where Waterloo, Ontario is? That is actually where I went to university, and my husband and I met in Waterloo, and so our son is going there, but he made his own decision whether to go there or not. It is a really great university, but it was his decision to do that. So we're going to drive up, spend a few days there for international orientation. And then my husband and I will drive back together. My husband isn't driving up with us though, because he is going to be at a conference. So he's meeting us up there, and then I'm going to drive back with him. So that will be kind of weird. You go up with one person and come back with another, but it will work. I don't know how I'm going to feel coming back. It's going to be weird not having our son around. He's been a fixture in our life for 19 years. 19 years. He's turning 19 on the first day of orientation. Oh, boy, it's kind of crazy. 19 years. And I know some of you have even grown kids, but for me, that's kind of like, whoa, mind-blowing. All right, what do you think? For a little bit of work, it looks just great to my eyes. Maybe not so great on camera yet, but I just love those big, bold florals, and they just make me happy. All right, now we're going to take a scrap piece of Whisper White. Let me get these blends out of the way. And I'm going to take my Seaside Spray ink pad, open it up here, and let me grab my thank you greeting. And I'm just going to stamp this down in the corner. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit. My ink pad is really inky. I probably should have taken some of the ink off of it. I'm afraid my Seaside Spray ink pad hasn't seen much use yet, but it's such a beautiful color. Like, I've kind of forgotten that I had it. Doesn't that look pretty? I can't decide if it's like more like a purple or a blue. It's kind of in between. So it's kind of cool. So I'll take my Tailor Tag punch, and I'm just going to make sure this is centered and give it a little punch. And let's get the card base. This is a card base. It was 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and I scored it in half at 5 1/2. Fold it up. Then I'll take this and some Tombow glue. See, it bled through the back a little bit, but in this case it doesn't matter because you're not going to see the back of this card. Just using a light bead of glue, and I'm going to stand up to get a bird's eye view on this. Okay, and then I will use some dimensionals, pick those up over here, and my little thank you piece. I'll put 4 in the back. Dimensionals are not so expensive, so you know, I want to make sure that this is well supported. You could go with just 2, but I want all 4 corners to be, I'm just gonna throw away the backings over my garbage can. You can't see that. I'm just peeling them off and throwing them in. Otherwise, I will probably go to the grocery store later today with dimensionals stuck to me. You don't want me to look like a stamper lady in the grocery store. No, that's actually, it's not a bad thing. But okay, so I'm just gonna lay this right on this spot right here where there is a spot right for this label. And then to finish off the card, I have created a little bow. I tied it earlier so that I didn't embarrass myself on camera. And I have lost my little mini. Where have my little mini glue dots gone? They were here a moment ago, and now they are missing. All right, time to improvise. Oh, there they are. I was gonna say we could improvise, which I could also do a little dot of glue and then stick the knot in it, but then you have to kind of hold it there for a few seconds, and that's why mini glue dots are better. So I'm gonna take my mini glue dot and I'm gonna kind of make it into a mini glue blob right there. And I'll stick this right on the corner of my greeting. And then I'll stick my knot of the bow right there. And then kind of have it come down. So that is the card. And I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I think they look really pretty, summery and nice and colorful. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shoot. Oh my goodness. Well, now you can see the difference between the 2 cards. I ran this, my original sample, I ran through with my subtle embossing folder. And this one I didn't. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but you can definitely tell the difference in person. So the subtle embossing folder just gives it a little bit more texture. And this one's a little bit more smooth. So they both look good. But I definitely think if you have the time, run the white piece through with your subtle embossing folder, and I think it will add just a little bit of character to your card. All right, now I have to show you the card I made last night, which I didn't really like, and that's sad, but it's true. This is the card I made last night. And it just on camera it looks like a hot mess. Like I think maybe if I had worked a little bit on the florals to bring them together, I don't know. It just looked really messy afterwards after I photographed it. It looked good while I was creating it, but not so much. And then I also made a different version. This one I don't have the bow stuck on yet. This one's I think a little better, but still not so good. On this one, I used the Pop-Up Petals stamp set, and I love that stamp set, but I didn't love it here. I think like you can just see these cards look better. They've got more color to them. Yes, maybe I spent a little bit more time coloring them, but yeah, I just didn't like those cards. I don't know what you think, but I'm happy with these ones, and I'm happy that I worked a little longer. This was my original concept for this card anyway, but for some reason when I was stamping it, I just didn't like the flow of things. Maybe because I tried to put too many florals on there. And then this morning I just decided, let me just do the main floral, a bottom floral, and filling in the space up at the top, and I think that finally worked. So I'm interested to see what you guys do with this challenge. So I hope you give it a whirl. It was a little harder for me, but if you go really simple, grab some pretty paper and just stick a greeting in the top left-hand corner with a little bow. It might be a little easier and not quite as complicated as I tried to make it. But I'm glad I found an alternate use to the Accented Bloom stamp set, because I really do like that stamp set, and by being able to turn it the other way around, it gives me a little bit more of an option when I'm stamping it. So, okay, well, hello everyone that's joined me. No one said how their summer was going, but that's okay. I'm going to assume that you're having a good summer, and thank you, Catherine. Thank you for saying that you love all my projects. When you're stamping, when you're creating, if you're only ever creating great projects, maybe you're not like stamping outside of your comfort zone enough. And I think artists do have to create some flops in order to progress and in order to learn. And I don't know if I'll ever get to that level where I'll just effortlessly create something that just looks wonderful all the time. For me, it's always a progression. It's a progression of layout, a progression of color, progression of style. And so I wanted to show you that I don't always stamp really cool stuff. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, don't like what I just stamped. I never want to see that card again. And sometimes I don't even want to send the card. If it's that bad. I was like, yeah, that one's relegated to the garbage, but it is fun, and I hope you will join us over on our Casing Tuesday Facebook group. And as I always say, all the links you need are below. If you want to shop with me, check out below, go directly to my blog, and I have a clickable shopping list, so you can see the products in closer detail. There's a little picture of the product. Click on it and it will take you to the store. And at the store, it will tell you what the product is, and it will give you more information about it. And I have pictures of my cards there. I have a picture of the card that we're casing and links to Facebook groups and everything. So my blog is my hub. So if you need something, go there. And all the links should be down below in the description of this video. So I hope you guys have a great week. I do have one other thing that I know I have planned this week. So I hope you will stay tuned for that. It's a really fun card that I created. And it's a fun card that I don't think is too much work. So I hope you will join me later on this week for that. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.